Good morning and welcome to Toddler Story Time. Today our story time is about spring. Spring is around the corner, and so we wanted to do it a little bit early. So welcome. I'm Terry from the Zula B. Wiley Public Library, and I have with us today our amateur meteorologist, Cassie. Come on in, Cassie, and say hi.
Hello.
She's going to help me with our weather board, and let's get started with weather this morning. Cassie is new to our weather song, so we'll have to teach her a little bit too. So, but as you know, we always start our story time with Hello Friends. And remember, our two songs that our two signs that we focus on are hello and friends. Remember, friends is like two friends that haven't seen each other in a long time, and they come together and they give a big hug. So, hello, friends. Let's get started. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Good job. All right. So now we're going to talk about our weather, because we did have some weather last night, and we'll talk about the different types of weather that we had. So our song that we're working on, definitely that we'll be using every Friday in the new library, is the weather song, and it goes, "What's the weather like today? Like today? Like today? What's the weather like today on this Friday?" So we'll bring up our weather board, and Cassie's going to be our meteorologist, and she's going to put on our sky, which is a little bit darker today, but we're going to talk a little bit about yesterday because there were some different things going on. It's still a little bit darker and somewhat not as dark as it was when it was raining last week, but we do have some clouds going on. So Cassie's going to put the gray clouds up, and we may today have a few drops of rain. But last night, now I'm going to ask you, can you see the sun right now? No. We know it's there because it's light outside, but it's not sunny, so we're not going to put the sun up today. Now, last night, did we have some lightning? We did. So Cassie's going to put the lightning on there. And some of you, depending on where you lived, might have had some hail, right? And hail kind of looks like snow. So people might have mistaken it for snow. It's not snow, but sometimes it kind of looks like snow. But it hits your roof, and it's kind of scary at times. You can put it over here too, on the blue so they can see it. Anywhere you want. Yeah. So that's hail. Okay, so we had a combination of things last night. We had some hail, we had, of course, some clouds, we had some rain, we had some big raindrops, and we had some little raindrops, and we had some hail and some lightning. So there was a big combination of spring weather that we had all over the area last night. Thank you, Cassie. We appreciate your help. All right, we're going to move on to our first story today, which is, it's okay. Thank you, Cassie, my good helper. Grumpy Monkey, Spring Fever. And I know y'all like Grumpy Monkey. We've read his books before, and he's always so grumpy, but yet sometimes he's very silly. And Grumpy Monkey's books are by Suzanne Lang. Spring Fever. One spectacular spring day, Chimpanzee woke feeling silly. He leapt off his branch and ran through the jungle, laughing and shouting. Sounds like he's not grumpy today, huh? Why do do I feel so silly? Jim wondered. Maybe you have spring fever, suggested Norman from next door. Spring fever? Oh no! And off he ran. What's the matter, Jim? Asked Water Buffalo. I need to find a cure for my spring fever, said Jim. Spring fever isn't really a fever, said Water Buffalo. It's when the spring weather gives you lots of energy. You need to calm down, said Oxpecker. The other animals tried to help Jim calm down. You should take a bath, but try not to splash. You should wrap yourself in warm blankets and take calming breaths. You should take a nap, said the alligator. You should drink tea or sniff some lavender. You should be quiet and sit still. You should put cucumber slices on your eyes and take a time out. Finally, Jim looked calm. See, he's got his cucumber slices on his eyes. But he didn't feel calm inside. I don't want to be calm, Jim shouted. That sounds like the Jim we know, right? Jim's spring fever is getting worse. Oh no, everyone, stay away from him so you don't catch it, shrieked Oxpecker. All of Jim's energy turned into anger. Catch this, yelled Jim. He was about to throw a cucumber at Oxpecker. Oh no, we don't want to throw things. That might hurt somebody. When Norman showed up. Are you okay? Norman asked. No, said Jim. I can't get rid of my spring fever and now I have too much energy. Having lots of energy is a good thing, said Norman. Just enjoy your spring fever and do spring things. Spring things, said Jim. What are spring things? The other animals had lots of ideas for spring things Jim could do. You could decorate eggs and hide them and try to find them. You could wear a bonnet. You could pet baby animals. You could play ball. You could splash colors on your friends. You could plant flowers and give a few to your mom. You could listen to a long story and then eat a special dinner. You could climb a tree. There's some answers. Yeah, some ideas. Jim felt like doing all of that. So he put on a bonnet, petted some baby animals, listened to a story, ate a special dinner, and planted and picked and gifted and climbed. And played and splashed and painted and hid and searched. He is busy. And shouted, I have spring fever and I don't care who knows it. Jim was having so much fun, the other animals wanted to join in. I've caught Jim's spring fever, said Oxpecker. Us too, said the others. It's a spectacular day to have spring fever, said Norman. Everyone agreed. And off they ran, laughing and shouting through the jungle. The end. Yay! Do you have spring fever? Well, if you come by the library this week, we have a little butterfly craft that you can pick up for the toddlers. And it comes in a little bag with all of the items that you need to make a little butterfly. You can have the children decorate the wings as well and just have fun with it. As you know, I like it when the kids just make it their own. So the pom-poms, the eyes, the wiggle eyes, which are kind of tiny, so look for them in the bag. Craft stick, they can color that as well. It's all in here except for the glue. You just need to add the glue. All right. Our next book is called Busy Spring, Nature Wakes Up by Sean Taylor. In the wintertime, the garden felt quiet and gray, and it looked like it was sleeping. Then, one morning, Dad was wearing his sweater with a hole in it. That meant it was a good day for going outside to do gardening. And it was. I went. So did my sister Jasmine. The yard was bright and birds were singing, hopping and pecking. A big bee flew by in a hurry. Everything smelled like wet earth and sunshine. It's warm, said Jasmine. Dad nodded. It's spring. We're almost there, guys. On March 21st, which is just a week away. Dad told us he had digging to do, and we could carry things to the compost heap, then help plant carrots. He said, let's see where I left the fork. Let's see, said Jasmine. She splashed through the puddle. Birds flew up and continued chattering in the trees. The birds are all busy, I said. Dad told us everything's busy. The plants are busy, the animals are busy, spring's a busy time. Jasmine shouted, busy spring. Dad brushed his hand through the flowers as tall as Jasmine. Bees and bugs and flies zoomed out. He told us, the spring sunlight is nature's alarm clock. Life's waking up. Plants are racing to get more light. Some grow high and then the wind scatters pollen from their flowers. Some paint themselves brilliant colors to attract insects. Jasmine put her face in some flowers. They made her sneeze. You're not a bumblebee, I told her, laughing, but she ran around, buzz, buzz, buzz. Jasmine buzzed around the pond. There are tadpoles, she shouted. Dad said, did you know tadpoles turn into butterflies? I told him, they turn into frogs. Oh yes, laughed Dad. That's right, frogs make too many babies to count. The fastest and luckiest tadpoles grow big and strong. And then they become frogs. You'll hear them croaking spring songs. Can you jump like a frog? I asked Jasmine. No, she said, but I can fly like a flutterby. I think she meant a butterfly, huh? Jasmine fluttered away and fluttered back. Birds swooped like they were playing too. One stopped on a branch. I said, she's eating a twig. She's not eating it, said Dad. There are lots of tasty caterpillars around for her to eat. She's collecting twigs to make a nest. And soon there'll be newborn chicks up there. Cheepy cheep, sang Jasmine. Cheepy cheep cheep. It didn't sound quite like the birds, but it sounded happy like them. We still hadn't found Dad's fork. It wasn't by the shed, but the hole where the fox lived was, and Jasmine peeped down. Is the fox inside? I asked. Dad nodded. Yes, and she'll have fox cubs by now. Little fox cubs, Jasmine called. Come and play. They just want to be with their mom for now, whispered Dad, but they'll soon be playing games in the spring sunshine. What games? I asked. Rolling and bouncing, said Dad, and chasing and pouncing. And then he chased us like we were foxes. I ran behind the compost heap. Dad, I shouted, here's your fork. Dad came to get it. Who lives in there? Jasmine asked. Dad rolled back a log with the fork. Insects, he said. All kinds of ants on here. There were rushing ants and woodlice. There were worms and shiny beetle. Those are nature's recyclers, Dad told us. They're working hard, eating up all the dead things. They're making compost. I spotted a caterpillar next to the compost heap. Look, I pointed. Spring's all around us, smiled Dad. Everything's growing, feeding, and making new life. That caterpillar was an egg a few days ago. Now she's eating and eating. Next, she'll wrap herself up in a cocoon. Then she'll change into a butterfly and find a mate. Yes, I said, tadpoles become frogs and caterpillars become butterflies. Dad looked at Jasmine and asked, can you become a butterfly again? No, she said, but I can become a frog. And off she hopped. Hop, hop, hop. It might rain in a bit, called Dad, and we came out to do something else, didn't we? Digging, I said, and planting carrots, Jasmine told him. That's right, said Dad, come on. So we did. Birds sang along, petals came dancing down, and we got busy. Had to plant those carrots before it rained. So what is spring? Spring sunshine is nature's alarm clock, telling wildlife to wake up after winter. You can see, hear, smell the signs of new life as season arrives with a rush of energy. And they beckon the animals and plants to leave winter behind and get busy. The sun, the way the earth circles it, gives us the seasons. All right, that was Busy Spring, Nature Wakes Up by Sean Taylor. Thank you for joining us today for Toddler Story Time. I'm glad you are here. Look forward to seeing you in person. And I will see you next Friday for another Toddler Story.